Hello and welcome to the Roomy Show. I'm Annie.
And I'm Dany.
In today's podcast episode, we will be discussing a topic that is really important.
Dun, dun,
dun!
So, we all know that we don't live in a perfect planet. That even though there are so many good and beautiful things about it, there are also terrible things happening in it. Things like poverty, injustice, inequality, species in extinction, deforestation, climate change, etc.
The problem we want to focus on today is climate change. We think that it's a really important topic since it is a huge problem today due to the fact that we are running out of time to fix it.
But, in order to make this more interesting, we have invited experts to share their personal experiences and thoughts.
Drumroll, please. First, we have engineer Carlos Caballero Galindo. He is the current CEO and director of TSS International of Monterrey, and he has an honorary doctorate in the topic.
Next, we have engineer Jose Reina Ulloa, which studied sustainability and is part of the Orbis Cooperative Group.
Next, we have Corinne Tajon. She may not be a professional about the topic, but she sure is passionate about it.
Following up, we have future League Barbara Garcia Noriega. She is studying license in art in the University of Monterrey.
Next, we have a local artist, Carla Fisher, who is passionate about showing her emotions throughout her work.
Last but not least, we have artist and sculptor Francisco Abad, which has many years of experience.
Now, continuing with the topic. Besides the obvious problem we have with climate change, there is also the fact that not all of the world knows such problem exists. According to a study made by Yale, around 40% of the population is not aware of the existence of climate change, especially in developing countries.
Climate change is a huge problem, a problem that can only be solved if everybody contributes. But how can everybody contribute when not everybody knows of its existence?
So, it's time to present our first experts interview. Let's see what engineer Carlos Caballero has to say about this.
Mira, la opinión de la población no ayuda mucho, porque la toma de decisiones son los gobiernos y las asociaciones como Greenpeace, como todo esto, son los que pudieran hacerlo, pero todos dependen de un Trump o de un López Obrador o dependen de un presidente X, ¿no? Sin la voluntad política de los gobiernos, no existe suficiente actividad que pueda hacer un particular y menos alguien de la población para influir sobre un cambio. Tiene que ser a fuerza una venta hacia los gobiernos.
But I think we should also hear what Corinne Tajon said in her interview about this.
That it's an important matter where we have to teach everybody when they are from the everybody and mostly our children when they are young to be and because when you have the education of ecology when they are young, it's a second nature.
So yes, politicians and those with great power have the chance of causing a greater impact with whatever solution they propose.
But we also agree with the belief that the world doesn't need one perfect activist, it needs a million imperfect.
Exactly, and those imperfect activists are us as citizens.
But how can we make sure everybody knows such problem exists? I mean, what would we even tell them?
Well, that is why we invited the experts. Let's see what Jose Reina would do.
Sadly, we couldn't get a phone call with him since he is really busy. But he managed to send us his answers. Why don't you read it, Annie?
Sure. So he says, es importante difundir información acerca del cambio climático, ya que se necesita un movimiento transnacional, una mentalidad verdaderamente global. Lo que yo les diría es que apliquen las técnicas de reuso y reciclaje con el propósito de evitar las emisiones a la atmósfera.
That's it. He's talking about finding a way to reuse our trash in order to decrease the amount of pollution we send out to the world. Actually, I have read many articles about a project involving something called an Ecobrick. Let's talk about this since it involves the action of reusing.
Oh, yes! So, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, there are many organizations around the world that have started to use ecobricks as bricks to build houses and furnitures. What's great about these bricks is that they are made out of PET bottles filled with trash.
Yes, and this is the project everybody can help with, since from your home you can make these Ecobricks by filling your own PET bottles with the trash you produce in your daily life. And when it is all filled up, you can send them to the organizations that work with them.
Now, let's see what our guests think about this idea.
I think it is the first step.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the first step of evolution. It's interesting, but it's small. It's a drop, un goutte a drop of water in the ocean.
Es súper impacto. Usted, ¿las dos son de Monterrey?
Sí.
Ah, bueno. ¿Cuándo regresan?
El 8 de diciembre.
Ok. Para esa fecha, yo creo que ya arrancó un proyecto muy grande de solucionar las dos cosas. Solucionar el problema de la ecología en lo que son los residuos de todo tipo, industriales y de domésticos. Y estamos fabricando casas con materiales que se llaman encapsulados. O sea, el Ecobrick, si es lo mismo que yo estaba pensando, son ladrillos hechos de diferentes desperdicios que ya quedan encapsulados y ya no se promueve la contaminación, sino se detiene y genera una cantidad importante de puestos de trabajo para esta actividad, ¿no?
I think it is amazing how Carlos is working on a project similar to the Ecobricks.
Yes, especially since his project is going to have a huge impact, since he has a lot of power in this area.
And adding to this, Engineer Reina said, los ladrillos ecológicos son una forma emocionante de que las personas, las comunidades y las empresas puedan comenzar su transición inmediata del plástico hacia una armonía cada vez más ecológica con los ciclos de la Tierra.
So, we can see how they all think this is a good idea, that this is a short-term solution and it's just a start. And that's it, you will always have to start small.
Actually, me and Annie have a small project related to this, but before we explain it, we have to generalize our idea more.
Now, we find art everywhere. Almost everything we do is considered art. We express ourselves in various ways to transmit our feelings and thoughts. Artists have the same jobs, in which they use their painting and sculptures to transmit a message. According to Licenciada Bárbara García Noriega, any art can transmit a message as long as it's deep and meaningful. As she stated in a previous interview with us,
in my opinion, art that is deep and with meaning always has a greater impact, since it makes the audience stop and look at it to understand it.
This is why Annie and me decided to do something about climate change. We both are young creative people who are eager to help the world. Using the previous knowledge that professional artists left us, we decided to create a sculpture representing the earth before and after. One of the clothes will be all pretty and colorful, and the other all destroyed, burned, filled with trash, representing an Ecobrick as well.
we hope that by having these both comparisons, we will catch people's attention and they will come and look at it. Our goal is not only that, but also explain to them what is an Ecobrick and how they can contribute to stop and prevent this problem.
We explained our project to our interviewed artists to see what they have to say about it. They all have experience in exhibiting their art, so that is why we thought it was really important to get feedback from expertise. What Barbara has to say about our project is,
and I am so happy to see people using art as a way to express to others about the importance of helping our planet. And it is also way more likely for people to stop and ask and be interested because it is a creative way of representing a problem that affects everyone. So I believe your project is an amazing idea.
Also, Carlos contributed with his opinion regarding the more technical aspects, stating that
Lo que sería dramático sería que encontraran piezas de algo que usualmente estamos acostumbrados a ver vivo y que estuviera muerto.
now that we are talking more about art, we prepared some questions that relate both art and sustainability to see what the artists need to say about this.
I think it's really important to them to emphasize that all the materials they use contribute to trash. Surprisingly, we found out that Barbara and Carla have considered sustainability by working in their pieces.
I am really aware of the impact of my art pieces can make to the planet. I try to use recyclable objects in many of my pieces, and sometimes even transmit a message of awareness about protecting our planet through them.
As she stated, she tries to use recycled material for her projects, which can come very handy when you're a student.
Let's see what Carla has to say.
La verdad, últimamente sí he pensado mucho en el impacto que tengo mientras hago mis obras. Es por eso que decidí cambiar a pinturas biodegradables y trato de cuidar todo mi material para evitar comprar más.
On the other hand, Francisco reflects upon the question, noting,
Pues realmente no he meditado mucho en eso, pero ahorita que lo medito, pues puede ser básicamente el uso de la electricidad para la quema de la cerámica, que pues sabemos que esto tiene pues un problema en la Tierra para hacer la electricidad. Realmente no he hecho algo en favor de esto, pero creo que al pensarlo voy a meditar a ver qué se puede hacer.
Dany, it looks like we made him reflect and think about how he wants to act upon all the trash generated.
Yay! We have changed one's perspective.
But Dany, you know what? What really kept me thinking was the last question about their opinion about using upcycled trash as a way of transmitting art. Let's see what they have to say about this.
Arte, obviamente sí. Hay grandes expresiones artísticas que se están haciendo con materiales reciclados o de desecho de la misma sociedad de consumo.
En mi opinión, al usar basura en las obras de arte, creas algo que es considerado feo, ya que es basura, y la haces en algo bonito. Además, creas conciencia a la gente, ya que es muy diferente usar basura como material principal.
It's nice to hear that nowadays many artists use trash as their main material because it's something people need to start realizing. Either we stop our consumption of plastic or give it a second life.
Also, what really caught my eye was when Carla talked about turning something considered ugly, such as trash, into something pretty like art. Everyone has a different conception, which are totally agreeable. Now that we are finished with the experts, what do you think that helped or influenced in any way the project?
I honestly think they did, especially how they were all related to our project. For example, Carlos working on a project similar to Ecobricks, Corinne being a citizen wanting to change the world, which is our goal.
Interrupting you. Also, the artist gave us a lot of tips on what to do and not to do for our sculpture, and even gave us a few ideas on how to exhibit our work of art. Also, I developed many thoughts and feelings from what they answered in their interview. Jose gave us a lot of information regarding sustainability and waste management since he studied and works on that. And with all the statistics, you realize how messed up we are and need to make a change in this world as soon as possible. But Dany, do you think all this information they gave us is reliable?
I do think it is. We searched until we found adequate people who are capable of answering these questions. Not only that, we also made sure that what their work on has a strong connection with our project. Not only the general topic being climate change, they also gave different perspectives, not only theirs, so they were not biases in the interpretations.
However, during the interviews, I did not notice any fallacies in their answers, especially because I trust them. But I have to say I do not agree completely in all of their points of view, which is totally fine. In fact, I think that minds that think different can come up with better solutions and complement each other.
Yes, absolutely, I agree. When Carlos talks about politicians being the one who can make a greater impact, some of it is right, But I think the people can make a greater ones, especially because most politicians are close and against this new eco-friendly phase.
Also, when Francisco commented that the art with a greater impact is neopop, I actually haven't heard of that, and I think it's interesting, especially when a few years ago we had of this type of art that, in my opinion, create more impact, such as expressionism.
Well, Annie, I hope we can stay longer because this topic really makes me think and excites me, but it's time to go.
Oh well, I hope everyone hearing this podcast can actually consider and think about what small actions they can make for a big changes in the future.
Thanks to everyone who tuned in today. Hope you liked tonight's episode, and remember, be the change you want to see in the world.
Bye, guys!